Why do you put the name on the back of a jersey?
That's what I'm saying,
When they
yeah.
sit in a chair.
Exactly. In sports, I mean, you have movement, right?
I mean, wait until we get the first joint jersey chair manufacturer that makes translucent chairs so you can see through the back of it.
Okay.
So you can see their name and number. I do like the branding on the front. I think it was actually the Overwatch League who did that. They had the names on the front as well.
They did.
Obviously, DZ aping that style. I like it quite a lot. First operator bands now coming in as we load into Kafe. Second map between these two teams. And it's Thatcher and Twitch off the board. These two operators do function somewhat similarly. It is kind of funny that Twitch is the one that gets taken out here because on Twitter, they talked about how we were going to see F2 Bazoo, aka Pan Bazoo on the F2, but it's DarkZero who says, we don't really want to put that operator in the hands of anybody on FaZe Clan.
The thing about Kafe is that the entirety of like Piano and Cigar is a bit of a dead zone, so the Twitch drone can just get in, do a bunch of damage, take out a bunch of utility and whatnot. And there are some areas on the map in general where the Twitch drone, with this change that the operator had recently, where her laser tasers are now infinite range. So you no longer need to get all the way up in the face of utility to then clear them. You can do them across the map. And Kafe is quite an open map with quite a lot of range. So Twitch, a lot of value. You get smoke on it. It's F2, really good weapon, of course. And it will be DC on the attacking side first, and it will be FaZe on the defense. So, yeah, if we go back to Clubhouse for a moment, DC needs to find an early footing in this map. Otherwise, it could be a very, very one-sided matchup because Kafe, it is defender-sided, and the way the FaZe was playing, well, you gotta start challenging the pace or set it yourself if you're DC. Pan Bazoo bringing the Nomad, I think that's actually a nice change to kind of talk about that early aggression from Cyber or FaZe as a team to kind of help slow it down or compartmentalize the map, secure the flanks, jump outs, etc. Reading bomb set is first, that's where we start, and Mirror is being brought from Cyber. So they're going to stand up above, put the mirrors down, and really hold that fortress that is top floor.
Actually, Nick, Fortress is another map.
But it's not here, Parker, so Fortification is different. And Fortress is different, okay?
Okay.
We're not in your classic...
Fortress is also a kick-ass album by Protest the Hero.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Because
You should go listen to it, by the way, if you're tuning in and you're like, oh, I like math rock, I like metal.
you're selling us something right now?
Go listen to Fortress by Protest the Hero. They're a good Canadian band.
Buy it.
I'm just trying. Of course, I'm biased towards Canada. That's where I'm from.
So great. Woo, Canada. Woo, maple syrup. All right. Easy. Show us what you got. It is time. First round, set the pace, set the tempo. Figure out, well, how do we break FaZe? It's not going to be easy, because no team really has broken FaZe. I mean, sure, they are down here, but it was Liquid who broke them. And Liquid, well, they know them very well because they play domestically all the time. And Liquid themselves have looked quite good at this tournament, right until they met TSM, because TSM looked even better. But neither of those teams are here. It's DarkZero FaZe, not Liquid TSM. Patches will be opened up. That it will be... Notice how like passive NGR is here, trying to get the hatches open. He's fearing a C4 from below. Often when you play below, you can like use your ear, hear when that sledgehammer goes through, toss up a C4, get a free kill. NGR respecting it. Of course, he could have used those Retero drones to open up the hatch instead, but it's wasted utility. Instead, Canadian will use it on that second desk, B2, I think some teams refer to, and open it up. That basically means less cover for defenders, but you still have these mirror windows inside of bathroom. That's going to be very difficult, and that's the FaZe problem that they've put in front of DC. They got a jam on it as well. You can't just breach it with the ace. So now it comes DC. How do you solve this problem?
Well, you shoot the Retero drone.
That's easy. But then what next after that?
What comes next? Great question.
Yeah, there's a jam on the mirror window, so you can't just ace it. As I said before, we see NGR on the rappel. Nate comes out, gets tossed. Retero drone goes out, destroys that bulletproof camera of the evil eye. Be off the board.
There's explosions abound now as FaZe sit and wait for the drop from DarkZero. Grenade goes in, and it blows up Souls. I don't know what he was thinking, but he didn't really seem to move all that much. Cyber with the Vector cannot contest more than a single player, maybe two at most. He gets found out and punished for it. DarkZero have full control of the top floor now. Their sights will be towards that reading bomb site down below. Or wait, we think that they didn't know that Bullet was there. 2 kills for Bullet, and he could go for more, but Pan Bazoo stops him. It was an advantage in favor of FaZe, and DZ says that's enough.
Well, that right there, that's FaZe setting the tempo once again because, well, didn't join up piano, didn't take control. You get punished instantly. 2 kills from Bullet, and what looked like a really good first round for DC now is even back down 2 versus 2. No C4 on Cyber. 30 seconds on this reading defense, and Pambasu and Canadian, the duo, they have to make work. Good vertical uses of those Rotero drones, and it seems to be a pillar execute from Pamba with Canadian up above.
Pamba will look for anybody inside of the bomb site, and through that small opening afforded onto the reinforcement, or the barricade rather, and now goes one of those flashbangs on in. There's a Maestro cam watching. I don't think Canadian knows it. There's a Maestro cam watching both of them, and there's the flank. A nice play by Astro and a pop-up. The Maestro cam is still looking in that direction, and they can continue to just ping away. Astro back into the bomb site. Cyber the unknown. Pambazu inside a laundry, watching the hatch. Could turn his back towards that diffuser. He sees Astro. Out he runs. Cyber drops on the white stairs. Nicely played by Pambazu. 2 kills. Is that matching his total from the very first map?
Above.
Now it's Astro to chase. With just a tiny bit of HP, the Aruni heads up the stairs after Pambazu, and Pambazu continues to waste time. That's all he needs to do. Astro's in such bad spot. FaZe have actually played the post plant so poorly on this one, and now Astro has no choice but to stick. Pambazu sees him, off he goes. That's the round. A rare poor performance from FaZe Clan. Pamba plays it perfectly. FaZe screws up, and that's round number 1.
Pambazu has more kills this round than the entirety of Clubhouse because he found 3. He shot down Bullet early on, and he found 2 kills in that 1 versus 2 clutch. We see it right here. And honestly, I loved how FaZe played that situation when DC went for the plant. One person went up above, that was Cyber. Then Astro, he flanked all the way around the bomb site in through pillars, and Canadian was left in this very tough position. There was an evil eye, a Maestro camera to the left of where they planted, spotting them out the entire time. And Canadian had this difficult task. Well, do you try and fight the guy flanking, or do you try and fight the guy above? And all Pamba did was like, you know what, Troy? You got this figured out. I'm gonna keep planting. And it looked terrible for DarkZero. But Pamba somehow makes it deep into the bomb site, isolates Cyber, gets that 1 versus 1. Astro did not push in deep to follow, and then he runs all the way up above, recognizing he can play the post plant like he should be with that vertical play that they used earlier in the round. Nice done, Pamba. Good clutch, important opening round, shutting down FaZe. 1-0 for DC.
Well, both of these teams committing mistakes throughout the course of this matchup. It was DarkZero to commit those mistakes all the way back on Clubhouse. So far, 1 round in, way too early to see if this is a pattern that will re-emerge. But for FaZe Clan, you had the cam in the bomb site. You knew where he was. You really easily could have pinched. But it took Cyber almost half of the diffuser to get into a position to strike. It was really not a good time from FaZe.
I do think instead of Cyber going up above, if you just pushed out through laundry while Astro flank pillars, then you're in the same area, look in the same direction, get that 2v1. But, well, Cyber went above instead. You can argue that was the wrong play because they lost the round. But at a first glance, it looked like the right decision, honestly. It's hard to judge.
Good point. Cocktail defense now for FaZe Clan above on that top floor. Most teams will want to enter from Red Hatch and take control of Cigar. It doesn't look like there's anything different with the way that DZ are going to go about this. What other options do you really have? I mean, you could hot drop the skylight in the middle of the bomb site, or you could start on the basement and clear upwards, but we think that not a smart idea.
No, basement ups, no. We see that in ranked and lower elo where you go basement, you walk up the staircases. It's really hard to work with because then the defenders get to use that top floor against you. We see Cyber here on the brown stairs, and well, he's sitting there holding that hatch drop if somebody were to jump down. Same story for Canadian, clears out the utility with the Rotero drone, tries to blow open the desk and the barbed wire, but only gets the barbed wire this time around. He still has 3 more to go, so plenty of options to choose from. And DC have set themselves up on this window repel. Prep C4 below, so if you rappel in ticket, that's going to be an easy kill. Of course, Cyber doesn't have information inside piano, but you can play sound, or the guy in Pixel here can tell you when it happens. DC playing it slow, making sure that they don't lose this opening kill, right? Because if FaZe get the early aggression, that's where FaZe shines. When FaZe gets the opening pick, they have a 70% conversion rate. So that means when they get the opening pick, they have a 70% chance of winning the round so far here at SI. It's the 2nd highest of the remaining teams at this event. So FaZe, when they get the kill, they usually get the round.
Conversion is something that we need to talk about, and at some point we can also run through these bomb sites depending on what we see out of FaZe Clan, whether they want to go to Reading and Cocktail and maybe downstairs. Oh, both Cyber and Cameraman using their Nitro cells. Those are the very first 2 picks. Astro, a beautiful shot on a Canadian. And now DarkZero. Well, this is a story of revenge from that previous round. DZ losing out of the Adrenal Surge. 30 seconds to go, and it's a 2v5. Down goes Cyber, first pick, but Hyper's dropped as well. He'll be able to pick himself back up because the Adrenal Surge goes off. Both players from DarkZero now inside of Piano. Eclipse will need the gun check onto Cyber, wins it out. But Hyper goes down to Astro, and now it's a 1v4. They will collapse on him. He knew Astro was coming, but there's not much he could do. So little HP for Eclipse. Could be 2-0 for FaZe, it's not. They managed to shore up their weaknesses and play the end of the round this time very well, and it's a tie game between these 2 teams.
Eclipse did another flawless because he got that kill. The NDC 2C4 here. One came out earlier. This one came out the second time. That's NGR and Pampas off the round. Then Super Astro with that nice shot onto Canadian from below. And that's really it. Once you lose the 2 first players to those C4s, the round is really, really tough when you're attacking because you lose so much utility, so much ground, and once, as I said, FaZe gets the aggression, they do not stop. They keep it up, they follow through, and they play together, making it so difficult to find any openings when you're against them. I like this 6 pick onto the Maverick. You get more grenades, but also you get the Heartbreach gadget. The insurance policy, if you will, because you only have one of the Heartbreach in Eclipse on the A. So if Eclipse falls, that's it. You cannot breach any walls. Now, well, you get a second shot. Even though Maverick is not the best Heartbreach on Kafe because, well, when you see the setup and it's hard to Maverick open most walls, at least it's something. And if they're going basement, which FaZe did not do this time, they are going back to Reading, but if they went basement, that's where Maverick really shines because you can go for these direct bakery attacks and it's a lot easier. But it will be a top floor extension once again from the side of FaZe. Shield and Pixel, no mirror this time, that's the change. So FaZe doing a good job at that dynamic gameplay of doing a multiple side setup when they go here for the second time around. First time was a win in favor of DC. And this time FaZe looks to change it up to try and change that outcome as well. Spawn peek, actually, from Astro. Doesn't find anything.
Doesn't find anything. What if I just started repeating you the whole way?
That would be extremely annoying for everybody, and myself, and you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, still on this top floor, some late reinforcements being done 15 seconds in. White Stairs will be a big focal point for FaZe Clan. They've got 2 players over there, one of which is now moving away as quickly as they can. That's Bullet. They wanted him to play over by Pixel, and he'll do just that with the Goyo shield in front of him.
It's like a 2-step setup, you know? 1-2, 1-2. You play this shield, gets destroyed, you play the second shield until that gets destroyed. Then you still have planks with 2 ADSs as a 3-step plan, almost.
This is like World War I, where it's like you defeat your opponents and you dig trenches, you move forward. And then you defeat them and you dig more trenches and you move forward. Now, except trenches, it's just Goyo shields, where it's like, oh, you blew up the Goyo shield, then you gotta move to the next one. So.
He had 3 at one point. Hard to believe. ADS gets burned, second flashbang follows, confirms the thought from DC that, well, there is only one, then the nade follows, the shield is gone. But no, joke's on you, we have more shields coming up next in the white hallway. Of course, bathroom as well can be played, but Bullet says, you know what, this shield is more comfortable, and so are the white stairs. Other than that, FaZe did not play aggressive. They did not play Cigar. They're not really playing under Skylight either. So DC can take the ground. They made a safe play, getting on that repels, clearing the shield, then dropping Cigar, so that now they can be comfortable in here. With the shield being gone, there's not going to be any easy directions for, or easy direct ways for FaZe to challenge. So once DC moves up one more room, that's when the battle will come.
Well. As the first kill of the round goes to Souls. Off screen, happening upstairs, as we talked about how this defense is so focused on the top floor, and Souls could have another one as well. I assume that the Bailiff is his secondary. He can drop, but is waiting on the hatch. There's the disappearing act. Cyber helps a man out. He doesn't have to switch to that secondary, so he can get away. As good as gone. Hyper down for the count. Hyper now having an uncharacteristically bad round and bad map for him.
Kind of nade over, actually, to heal his damage. They could just use the torch, I feel like, but either way, nade goes out. Now they can reach the wall, and that's going to compromise FaZe's top floor hole, but they all run away. There's no one there, and the Toxic Babes has found the side of NGR. That's unfortunate. But now FaZe, they've given up the top floor with 30 seconds left, and now DC, what can you do? You have extremely limited vertical play because you've lost the sledge, right? So you just got these breaching charges from Eclipse, last one about to go out. That's all you have. Gotta just be bunkering through side once again. That's going to be difficult.
And Canadian is now one of the 3 remaining players for DarkZero. Panbazoo as well as in action. Canadian gets a kill, but immediately Panbazoo is dropped, then Canadian pays for it, as does Eclipse. A utter collapse of DarkZero, and that's all she wrote on that round. FaZe Clan putting in work after surrendering that first round to a series of blunders where it was eminently winnable. Now they turn around and they are not repeating those mistakes again.
It really does seem like when DarkZero loses their first player that they really kind of fall apart and they kind of go like, well, what do we do now? And it's kind of like a panic play, and it kind of worked for them. But then again, the timer ticked so far down that it didn't. What happened was that they threw a summer charge on the blue wall from Freezer, and there was a jammer. Then they opened up the floor above and they grenade it, right? Clear the jammer, breach the wall. The second they do that, FaZe just run away. They understand that their position is compromised. They can no longer hold this ground comfortably. But then we look at the clock. It's at 45 seconds, just now and last round too. And that's not enough time. NGR then died to Toxic Babes in the midst of that and sledged off the board. So you have no real way into the bomb site. You cannot clear out any positions. You have almost no drones left. And, well, Nomad, while she's great for flank holding, is not great for going into the bomb site. So you have very little to work with. That means we're in the basement, and this rotation from Bakery that we see, it kind of speaks to the fact that Maverick is open and was in play last round. So FaZe playing dynamically once again, always extending out and above, making sure that every single position for DarkZero, well, they'll have to work for it. They'll get challenged on the entry points, and that's good if you're FaZe, because otherwise attackers, they can just run you over. FaZe shuts DC down at every single step so far, whether it's going for a spawn peek of those early C4s, or just extending out and playing the map dynamically.
All right, now we're going to see some presence on that bottom floor, basement, first floor, whatever you want to call it, Nick. Kitchen.
I was just about to write basement because you said that. Ground floor first.
Ground floor.
My bad. We'll get there. Kitchen. We are in kitchen.
Absolutely correct. Lineup that's coming in for the defenders, extremely flexible, but there's one thing that's going to catch your eye about this lineup.
Oh. It's the Kavera, isn't it?
Nice calf play.
I actually didn't see it, so no. Good point. Oh, I saw. Actually, I did see it.
If you're DarkZero saying, "Oh, I didn't see it," not good enough against a Kavera.
It's not. It's gonna punish you, right?
It'll hurt. Yes.
We've seen it twice before here at Invite. It's an extreme. It's almost like one of those disrespectful picks where like you're only picking this because you believe you can just roll over your opponent, because this is not a typical approach to the game. And I mean, we'll see if Astro can get something for his money's worth here. He's hiding top floor in Cigar, but no, Canadian gets the opening kill onto Bullet.
Who says the old man can't shoot back? I'm nasty! Or so he might scream, I'm not sure. Half of his HP gone away. Still 2 Rotero drones to use in the final 90 seconds now. They've picked off Bullet. Astro as well, still this big question mark. Where is he gonna go? Because you wanna isolate one of the attackers. If this is a more linear take from DarkZero, then they're gonna head into Bakery, and you're not really going to have an opportunity for any of those interrogations.
No, and that's the thing. Kafe is one of those maps where defenders are mostly in the same area of the map, and FaZe, instead of falling back, have now aggressed. Astro looking for a flank, but the air jump stops him dead in his tracks. He's now stuck in pillars. Souls finds a kill onto Eclipse, so that's all that happens for now.
Juggling around, and he might try to find his way out of here. There he goes. There's not much he can do. I mean, I would kind of want to use the pistol in that instance. That thing does so much damage close range. It's at least attracted the attention of 2 players of DarkZero on that middle floor. Now Canadian falls to Souls. It's a second kill for him. Souls on the Rooney, picking up 2 of his 3 kills so far in this round. That leaves a 3v3 with another Adrenal Surge to go off. Cyber swatted away by Panbazoo. A much better performance by Panbazoo on this map. Not inside of his own head, but his bullets inside of the head of others. Souls barricading himself back in the bomb site, safely, waiting, patiently. A toxic canister goes out from Cameraman as well as FaZe Clan braces for the storm of DarkZero. DZ will aggress from over towards Whiskey, only one player rotating, and FaZe need to be aware of this. A shot from Souls, he doesn't know there's one to his left, and he might get picked off from that angle. He's getting spam pings, not a lot of bullets, not a lot of time either. There was the diffuser in hand, you need to go for the plant, but Cameraman stays alive, and it's another blunder, but this time from DarkZero, as FaZe picks up their third round in a row.
DC managed to collapse on 2 players that round in a 2 versus 1. They did a really good job at finding those picks, but then what happened? Well, the diffuser, folks, was left outside the small bakery window, and DC realized that with 15 seconds to spare, even if they had successfully gone through the door in towards the bomb site, that's all you can do. You cannot stop planting. They never picked it up, and they realized way too late. Scrappy round, messy round, good flank cover from the Nomad, and that basically ensured that that flank from Astro on the clear didn't go through. But that's not enough, because you also need to get something done on the bomb site once you get through that flank roam situation. And well, you didn't get any way in. We saw a Kali 6-pick from Canadian. That's going to help you a lot with those mute jammers. And with Souls bringing out the mirror on this top floor defense, this actually bodes quite well for DC, because now you can Kali the wall with the lands, then throw your Selma charge from Eclipse and breach the walls open, directly countering this entire setup. So you have extremely good utility. And FaZe, well, they won't know this because it was a 6-pick from Canadian. It's a good read.
Well, Kali. When was the last time you and I saw a Kali?
Long time ago.
I feel like it was in the groups, though.
Yeah, in the groups early on, we did see a Kali for a single round.
It might have been a clubhouse or a villa, I want to say. Or a chalet? I mean, I almost named half of the maps.
That was almost half
so,
the
I mean,
maps, yeah.
I think it was on one of the following 7 maps.
We can agree that we saw it, at least. That's for a fact. Like, we did.
Yeah, we did. But, all right. Diffuser in hand, it is imperative that DZ do not drop it this time, as it was a messy end as they went for that final kill, unable to get it. Did not work out the way they wanted. You conceal the Kali for as long as possible, but now there you go. The shot has been made, opened up. The jig is up. A Nitro Cell gets tossed out from FaZe. It does not connect, and immediately they've fallen off that top floor. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my!
On the rope.
Cyber sees the rope of NJR, and he's as good as gone. It's NJR's time to take up that I'm not doing well mantle that Pambazoo had before.
Yeah, and it's important when you rappel on these windows that, well, you just saw it. NTR, he didn't do it arguably correctly because he showed the rope, and that verifies the assumption that you can have that, well, he's below where that breach is. If you rappel upside down, well, his head will, of course, show, but at least he also sees the opponent back. And that's, again, the opening kill for FaZe. That's 2 nades off the board, and you use the Kali to open up the hatches safely, only to lose the sledge moments after. It's not great. You still got what you need, though. You got the Kali with the lances. You got the Selma charges on the ace. You can pick this bomb site apart. And here we see it. First land goes out, clears the jammer. Selma should follow up shortly. And that means that mirror window will be gone in a moment. And there it is. Great job, DC. What now? You force FaZe backwards, but you still got that 4v5 situation.
You've opened up some of the bathroom, and now that really strong spot is gone. But I think they might have actually got the Selma. I think they did. Mute got it, apparently, so there you go. Mute shot it, and it's still upright. They've now finally lost the Selma, or lost that mirror window because of the Selma. And DZ's drones will skirt in, trying to find some information as to these players on FaZe Clan, who have a wealth of time. They just need to sit back and wait.
Yep. That's the name of the game of your FaZe, because you don't gotta move a muscle. In DC, they have to pick you apart. They have 2 nades left, and they gotta use those very well because FaZe are sitting in very strong positions, and they're not gonna give you much, but Eclipse finds 1. That's not what you need. You need more than just 1.
On a Bullet. 3-3-3 for Bullet. Interesting scoreline for him. 30 seconds to go, and now it's Astro taken apart by Pambazoo. Eclipse as well. He finds the 2nd kill of the round. FaZe dying to all the gun barrels of DZ. They got that first pick, but that's about it. Cameraman on the flank. He looks the wrong way. Souls has been down. This round should go in favor of DarkZero. Nice pick from Cameraman. Is Souls retrievable? That is the real question. The answer, no. Pambazoo picks up kill number 2 to 2 for Eclipse. In the clutch, Cameraman realizes how hard this is. He's been here before. He sees the ace of Selma for but a second. 3 kills from Eclipse on that round. And DZ can pick up round number 2.
And DC stops FaZe's streak because they got 3 rounds in a row, and, well, now we're back. 3-2. That's all right, considering that this is FaZe on the defensive side, and the 6-pick onto Kali really did everything that they needed. They did a really good job at utilizing, understanding, well, it's a top 4 attack. We might face the mirror. And even if the mirror wasn't on the board, it's the same story. The mute jammers are guaranteed to be coming out because it happens every single time on this map of Kafe, and that's what the Kali is so good. People think, well, Thatcher is the only operator that can do this, so he's so worth banning. But you're wrong, because Kali is essentially a secondary mini Thatcher in an operator. And the one reason why teams don't tend to bring her that much is because her bolt action primary sniper rifle is not that popular amongst the pro players. Because with every gun one-shot headshotting and having high fire rate, it's really hard to challenge people. If you miss one shot in the gunfight on Kali, you're likely dead. And sure, she does have that secondary SMG, just like the Clash. I have no idea what it's called. And it's a very, I would say, average weapon. But average at this level of play, I mean, you're fighting up against LMGs, right? Guns doing 47 damage a bullet. You got a bolt action that might injure you in one shot or do half damage if you hit the shoulder or the leg. It's unreliable and a bit inconsistent. And FaZe once again shows us a different side setup. The castle, the mute, and the Kai, but Pambasu shuts down the spawn pick from Cyber, and now you're controlling the pace because the early aggression is punished, arguably the first time this entire series.
Yeah, that's the start that you want to have for DarkZero, so that's one objective down. Cyber having a very bad game thus far, but the rest of his team has been able to somewhat pick up the pace. It's actually quite even. Nobody really succeeding more than everybody else through these 5 rounds. 5 kills is the top of the charts for FaZe Clan. In terms of DZ, Pambazu quite top-heavy. There's utility work from the Sledge as well on Repel. And one of the things when you have a team that has that 3-strike potential, TSM gets talked about it a lot. You know, you've got Achieved Merc and Bolo. Here on DarkZero, you've got Pambazu, you've got Hyper, and you've got NJR. Over on the side of FaZe, it's more just 2. It's oftentimes Astro and Cyber. So if one of them goes quiet, you might be in a bit more trouble. The thing is that FaZe does tend to be that more evenly balanced team. With DarkZero, if somebody goes quiet, you got somebody else there to pick up the pace. Eclipse can step up really big as well, even though he's not one of those main points of action.
Yeah, he had like a 17-kill game, one of the first games in group stage on Thermite of all operation. We're like, you know what, Eclipse, get off the Thermite and start gunning more. Free play C4 from Bullet. That's going to be for that new balcony hatch drop. And once again, same start from FaZe. They love this C4 play. They've gotten like 5 kills or 4 kills so far in these first 5 rounds. We are on the 6 right now. And once again, it works in their favor. Pambasu shut down Cyber, but Bullet stops Pamba. That's a trade, if you will, but with a minute in between. Another one.
Gonna connect.
Another prepped C4. All right, FaZe, show us what you got.
Nitro Cell's tossed up, not been pulled yet. Reading defense, 3rd attempt for FaZe Clan. They won it the last time before. They had that really miserable start on this bomb site, if you recall.
Yep.
Series of blunders, just as we saw blunders from DarkZero. Nitro Cell is still sitting there waiting. Hyper from below will toss a nade. It will sail far up, far wide. Nobody from FaZe greets it. And JR still posted up on the top floor as well. And with that player of Hyper down below, that means that you've got 2 players that are not directly connected to the bomb site. But don't be distracted. The fact that you've got somebody up above, quite good. Because you're going to want to watch that floor. You're going to want to watch the bomb site down below. DZ dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Opening up more of the walls, and now some of the reinforcements that lead to the bomb site will be taken out from the Selma as well. That's Eclipse to do that with the Selma in hand, and he will look at where he just opened up before trading out and giving Hyper that position. FaZe are far enough back that it seems like they're inviting DZ into the bomb site. Souls catches Hyper. That's a misread from DarkZero. Now a flank coming in from Bullet. He's got some work to be done. Sees one body over by pillars, and it's a beautiful shot. 2 kills for him, and Astro gets 1 as well. FaZe domineering this first half, 4-2 in their favor.
Yep, 4-2 is the scoreline, and DC, couple of things you gotta talk about. Good early round shutting down the aggression, but C4 punished back. That's 4-4. Then nothing happened for a while, but there are a few things I think that are worth talking about. The Kali was doing phenomenal work. They managed to breach every single wall in their sites that they wanted to breach, but there was one huge mistake. This breach right there, it's a vault hole into sight, and you're stuck in that animation. You can't really fight back. You cannot maneuver around. So by basically putting the summer charge a little bit too far up, you're basically baiting or punishing your teammate who has to go through it because he's going to be in an unfavorable position. You gotta put those summer charges a little bit further down so you can crouch through or do 2 breaches to combine in height so you can run or walk through, stand in. That's going to punish you, and it did. The time, of course, well, not really being played so fast. DarkZero were executing the last 15 seconds in 3 of their 6 attacks at the minimum. The FaZe will have to do it a little bit quicker. They're bringing a different lineup-ish because Cyber's on the Ashe is one of those niche operators that some teams play sometimes. So typically, most people pick Sophia over Ashe because, well, arguably the gun is better. You get the LMG on Sophia, you get the stuns, and you get the lifeline soft breach. On Ashe, you only get those 2 breaching charges. Do have the 3 see this? So you have breaching rounds with the gadget, and you have 3 breaching charges, the secondary gadget. That's a little bit confusing.
Is it coming out of a gun? Is it round that it's a breaching round?
Breaching round, gadget, breaching charge, secondary gadget. Yes.
Branding potential there could be.
It's actually
a little bit
pretty good with 2 use breaching charges against the castle, but FaZe have put most of their all the way around. DC has put most of the castle on the inside the building, so to speak, not in the exterior windows. Cocktail window is soft, it's a normal barricade, etc. Double door, it's a cigar, is a castle barricade, but no one's playing in cigar, so a little bit of an interesting setup from DC. Wondering if they're just gonna put it there for utility reasons. Playing very far back, quite passive. Like, there's a very clear line in the map where, like, DC is somewhere and there's just nowhere else. You see, right here, clear line. From Cigar and towards Cocktail, that's where DC is. But on the Piano Cigar side, there is no one. So a very clear line of what is FaZe's property and DC's property. And DC playing it really passive and far back.
They don't want to share their toys in the sandbox, so, as you said, property being the word to talk about. Pambazoo safe as a bug in a rug inside of bathrooms. Drones still going by and none discovering them for now. 3 Rotero drones for FaZe. You saw on map number 1 how lethal and how important those Rotero drones can be for FaZe to clear out utility. Will they be able to just be the same success here? Nitro Cell expended by the mirror of NJR. Might as well do that before you lose the remainder of your HP. He doesn't find anything. Canadian on cam to guide the rest of his team. Just a little over a minute to go in round number 7. FaZe holding the advantage. Another Rotero drone goes in, and it'll go off. Not spotted, not swatted away. Or
nope, we're good. FaZe actually, they rotated off because they recognized they cannot clear that mirror window, so it's gonna be a skylight window executed. Here we go, drop down onto site.
Oh my goodness, and they're heading in. Nitro Cell connects, Hyper takes out Astro. DZ still getting beaten, but DZ will head back to the bomb site. In a 5v3, that brief moment of action for FaZe not really working out in their favor. Now they have to hit the pause button. Diffuser isn't in their grasps either. They assess that there's a mirror window in play. Pambazoo barricaded inside a bathroom, still there. Nobody able to flush him out just yet. If FaZe go to enter, they'll be swinging through the windows, and they will be sitting ducks effectively.
They will. We saw the problem solving from FaZe wasn't there because there was no Kali like DC played themselves. Eclipse on the white stairs. That's going to not bode good because there's a curse on the staircase. Or not this one in particular, but the one on Oregon. Eclipse does find a kill though. Makes it a 5v2.
Nicely played on their end. Really no hope here at all for FaZe Clan. They've got some marks, but they are just stopped by the nice network of defenses we saw from DarkZero. 4-3 in favor of FaZe still, but DZ pick up that 3rd round.
FaZe couldn't break it. A simple castle barricade, a runegate, mirror window, mute jam. That's not that simple. 4 different gadgets combined together, you know, just like FaZe did themselves. You know, you put a mirror down with a jammer and you then block the lines side with the castle barricades. They couldn't break it. They didn't have the Kali like Canadian was playing when he 6-picked it, and we just saw how difficult it could be. They droned it out, they breached some of the ghost castle barricades, and they said, you know what guys, we don't have enough utility. Go up to the roof, on the skylight, one person on that cocktail repel, drop, and hope for the best. Very little follow-up, and it was more of like a desperate attempt because the time was taken away, and FaZe, well, they didn't want to sit around and wait and just lose on time. They said, we'll do it now with 50 seconds left, do or die kind of moment. And, well, when you're in the lead on this 4-2 side swap, you can cost a round, you can cost 2 rounds, and you're tied back up to 4-4, so you can get a little bit experimental, if you will. Still no Kali from them, but Cyber is bringing the Maverick. So one more set of nades and the torch to help if they need to, but that won't work against mirror windows. Reading bomb site is second rotation pick.
Strong start for FaZe on that first half after DarkZero takes round number 1. Again, FaZe could have very easily 5-1'd that first half. There was that mix-up the tail end of round 1, and I think it's enough time that we have referenced it, but this could be a completely different ball game. DZ answer back and have now found a little bit of a fire in their belly. This is FaZe's map, so if DZ can keep it close, that's great. Obviously, if DZ want to go on, they need to win this and then send us to Bank as the third map to secure their place in the top 6. If not, the 2 teams to have gone home today will both be North American teams. That will leave 1 EU team, 2 NA teams, as well as the 3 Brazilian teams still standing.
Well, I'll tell you this, Parker. So DC have played this map 4 times, and in 2 of those games they went 8-6. So if anything, we can just expect that same score. It's going to be going the distance here. DC will not make it easy, but they might just come out on top. If not, FaZe, of course, will walk away 2-0. So DC needs to go the distance.
Settle in, get some popcorn, get some water, get whatever you need, because it might go all the way, as you pointed out. FaZe Clan can break the hearts of DarkZero with an early kill and then a pick on this round. They'll move closer to match point. Eclipse swatted away by one of those air jabs. A cameraman can't be too quick to pounce. Instead, he'll hear the carbine, but he doesn't have any intel, and he doesn't want to put himself in a position where somebody from DZ could be over in back bar. Somebody could be over by cocktail door. I think that's wise for cameraman to do. Even if they do have the advantage on the top floor, they get the pick on the Canadian. Down goes the Kaid, and FaZe Clan with half the round to go have an advantage that now grows. Pambazoo isolated, taken out of action. Eclipse still in the spot above. That was their first target, but FaZe didn't want to go for it. Instead, their attention went elsewhere, and now Eclipse will drop, but give himself away. As he heads up, there's a lot of work to be done, and even more, it's all on the shoulders of Hyper. Every single player from DZ is dead. Hyper gets the first pick on the Souls. 4 more to be found. 1 minute to go. Inside of the bomb site for Hyper. He knows they're coming by. He swings, gets one, but Cyber's a little bit...
Fall back 1 step at a time. If you give up too much space, well, the attackers will get really comfortable and your life gets harder. As I said that, Canadian has now 6 pick just now from the castle onto the mirror, and they agree that, well, they saw FaZe struggle, so why not bring it one more time?
All right. Crucial round for FaZe Clan. Back to reading room. We're going to see DZ go. Maybe try something new with the way that they had that setup going. The timeout in the previous map did absolutely nothing. DZ took it after round number 8 when it was 5-3, and the scoreline of that map ended up being 7-3. So FaZe taking the next 2 rounds means that DarkZero don't get much for it. They're not really in bad position in this map, but they're in the same spot in terms of numbers-wise, and the only difference is that it's only been a single round since DZ last won their last one round, whereas the map before it was 2 rounds. Not a lot has changed. Taking it at roughly the same time, save it pays off. As you said, in that operator lineup that you saw, it worked against FaZe. DZ might like what they have in their setup.
Certainly, and both of these teams here at SI has actually had a bit of a turbulent situation, right? It's been like a little bit back and forth. FaZe has looked mostly good, and DC's looked both terrible, average, good, super good, and then this game kind of done this at mid-area again where they're falling a little bit short, right? They had a great game against Furia. They won 7-3, 7-2, but nowhere near that same scoreline we're seeing here in Cyber. Are you walking just past DC up to tops 4. What? Takes down the mirror. That's a huge kill in an important area of the map. You work past the bomb site all the way up. Now you're making your way back down and just sitting and waiting.
I don't know whose set of eyes from DZ needed to be watching that, but they did not do their job, and now NJR is gone as well. I feel like we said that Cyber was having a bad game, and then he just leveled up at that point. DarkZero, listless. FaZe, 2 big picks. Huge for them.
And this is where barbed wire comes into play, because when you set up these defensive rounds, there has to be barbed wire or some sort of deny on the staircase, because otherwise this happens. You walk all the way up, nobody hears it, nobody sees it, and FaZe still have 9 drones left as well, so plenty of information to work with.
I mean, but hey, DZ seems to be hitting their shots. DZ's numbers will get dwindled down, but Cameraman on a tiny bit of HP, he's still upright. Low enough that a single bullet is going to remove him from action, but there's damage that he can absolutely do. On drone, maybe he doesn't want to put himself in a bad spot, so he will allow Astro and Souls to flourish. As you talked about, the drones, very good for FaZe. Still 8 available for them. They've actually got more than that. They've got 12 because there's 4 Rotero drones, Nick, as well that are available. 3 still remaining from Souls, who's got that diffuser.
Slowing down. That's what we can do if we're attacking, because we got the time on our side. But Hyper, oh, the timing doesn't favor him because he walks past an enemy not knowing that Souls inside of mining, but both get to live. Nobody fired a single bullet that actually connected. They're both full.
Hyper on white stairs. Here's the telltale sign of an ARX, but there isn't much to Cameraman. Eclipse is gone, and it's Hyper with 1 HP. Stopped by Astro. Match point, series point. This is a funeral for DarkZero at this moment.
Let me ask you this, Parker. What happens to the losing team of this match?
We put them on a rocket ship and we blast them into the sun.
That's terrible. You can't say that.
We put a dresser progressively closer to their bed so that every time they wake up, there's a greater risk of them stubbing their toe on the dresser. That's what happens to the team that loses.
Well, I'll tell you what really happens, because
Hold on a second.
I
think I know this one.
Okay.
They go home.
Yes. They do go home.
We say goodbye. We bid farewell. I wish I spoke Swedish so I could say what goodbye is.
Farvel. It's like farvel or farvel. I'm not sure in the enunciation.
No, it's favela. It's a map.
Say
it again.
Farvel.
There you go. We'll say goodbye. If it was in Montreal, we would say au revoir. Adieu.
Okay.
There you go, in French, even though my French accent is terrible. You need to bring on Milos to really give you that good
French.
He
could show us.
Yeah. He absolutely would. DZ are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks, and boy, oh boy, Kafe is not their map. Neither was Clubhouse, despite the fact that DZ picked it. Honestly, we've seen matchups where teams are not themselves. They don't play to their strengths, and things just don't work out. You lose because you're in your own head. I would argue that Damwon Kia did not show up. They were not themselves, and they got beat. They were out of sorts. They made a lot of mistakes, and that's a big part of why they got eliminated. Not necessarily that their opponents, Oxygen, were better. Today, FaZe Clan have made almost no mistakes on these rounds. I think if you go back to Clubhouse, there's maybe 2 rounds that we see where FaZe Clan actually committed blunders. One of those rounds came in round number 1 of this map. This map would be over if FaZe Clan had better coordination when it comes to the post plant. So, this is a team that looks scary, scary good right now. It's not even that DarkZero has been playing poorly. DarkZero has actually been playing quite well. They're just getting beaten all over the map by this FaZe team.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe is one of the fan favorites to take this event. I mean, you asked the players.
I asked the players.
And they said FaZe.
They said FaZe.
Is the team.
Is the team.
To watch out for.
To watch out for.
Yeah.
And guess what?
They are.
They are indeed. We're watching it firsthand right here, right now.
So it's do or die for DarkZero. It's match point. This could be your final round at SI22, or if you manage to get the following 3 rounds, you will take us to OT and get to 5 for that 8-6 goal line that you've won twice before already. So DC are familiar with that territory, but getting there will be the challenge. The setup is the same, the mirror windows, those castle barricades, but would you look at that? Souls is playing the Kali, mirroring what DarkZero did when they won their attacking round. Same similar. Did he just punch the mirror though?
Yeah, why did Canadian do that?
I'm curious if it breaks the summer charge if it was on the window itself, but that's a more for a different story.
I honestly don't know. That's a very good question. But maybe he did get the Selma charge, and maybe that was the intention behind it. I'm not sure. But it does cost him the mirror window, and they've had to give up some of that control. It's allowed Canadian into the back of Bar, where now some of the wall will go, and he is really trapped inside of the freezer upstairs.
Yeah, he is, and there's no nades from FaZe, by the way, so the freezer is a strong position. The downside of Kali is you get less nades, but now the gunfights are coming out. 1-for-1 trade, nobody benefits the most. DC can hold on, hold strong with a minute left to go.
I would argue that losing Cyber definitely benefits DZ, and now Cameraman is as good as gone, and JR lines up for 2 on the bullet. DZ need to find some 5th gear right now. Astro shuts him down, and FaZe have equalized yet again, but inside a freezer, it's Hyper. He just chills Astro. Souls on that Kali, as we talked about. Doesn't have access to the bolt action, instead running with the SMG. Here's the Roni and knows that somebody's playing over by the top of White Stairs. That'll be Souls. Has to look in the wrong way. He does a lot of damage to Panbazoo, but DZ stay alive. Fans of the Bee Gees, perhaps. It's a 4th round for DarkZero. They stave off defeat. For now, they are still in this tournament. But that light hasn't gotten that much closer at the end of the tunnel.
DC looking a bit more quiet today than they did yesterday against Fury, and it is late here. It's the last game of the day and whatnot. And
8:40 p.m.
They didn't have a best of 3 earlier, right? Because this is the first time they play on stage. As we have less teams here, there are less matchups.
Yes.
We only have one stream. There isn't, like, there's one desk in this room. There's no second desk to cast on. This is it. We're really getting down to the last few teams because we're entering stage 3 very quickly. This event has been going on since the 8th of February officially. We've been here for quite some time at this point, and it's been lovely, I will have to say. But if you're DC, of course, you're gonna stick around longer. If you FaZe, same exact story. That means you have to fight tooth and nail to the bitter end. And I'm extremely curious what happened with the mirror because I actually checked. Astro spent 2 Selma charges. So I am really curious, and I want to test this after this game. If you throw a Selma charge or a hard breach on a mirror window, and then you punch the glass, does that break any, hard breach gadget on the opposite side because it shatters? I'm very, very, very intrigued. I'm very curious, and I need to know. If anybody knows, tweet at me, DM me, whatever. I need to have this answer because it's really bothering my brain. So I feel like I know most things about the game, but this one I'm like, does it work that way? I'm not quite sure. You wouldn't know, Parks. I'm not even gonna bother asking you. But
okay.
If I don't know it, you don't know it. It's very simple. No offense, but you're a caster.
No offense, but I'm about to say something offensive. You know that doesn't shield you from being offensive, right?
Okay. My bad.
I don't hate anime.
I'm sorry.
I don't hate anime, but I've just never enjoyed watching one.
Okay.
See, no, but that doesn't work that way, Nick.
No, I think it's
It
fine.
doesn't work that way.
I think
that means
fine.
I hate it. Okay.
I don't have an issue with it.
I have an issue with anime, and where do I begin?
DarkZero will have to begin the round the same way as last. It was NGR who really popped off, had a phenomenal round, found 3 picks, I believe, or at least 2. He's now in smoke, but it's that FMG. Good weapon because the shotgun is being brought out from the Bailiff of Eclipse and the punching of a Rooney on Canadian. So you don't need that primary shotgun. You can do all the rotations that you need. We're no longer on top floor bomb site. It's reading, but we have extended up above. That's how teams have to play this map because otherwise, well, attackers, they take the ground and then you lose the round. So it really will be do or die for this top floor defense. The only way DarkZero can give it up is if they can burn down the clock far enough to then give it.
Ooh, I like this. That nade goes in, by the way, to Panbazoo. He doesn't take any damage. He immediately decides to take the gunfight on the window and then peel off. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
It's 5-5. Nade comes out. There should be nobody there. There isn't.
That's the same nade that went in before, but it was Eclipse in that position instead of Panbazoo. So they don't really want to do too much. I love that gun skin, by the way. That's the EUL logo on the gun skin.
Sure. Top floor has been surrendered by the DC. It's a similar story when FaZe was here, but the opening kill goes to Cyber. This man has been so lethal throughout. He really showed up second half on Kafe. That means that Eclipse off the board. Not too big of a loss in terms of gadgetry, but of course, it's a good gun.
Oh, Cyber stays alive. The odds for FaZe shoot through the roof. He was the first to die in the previous round, and the rest of his team just simply could not make up for that killing potential off of the board. He had a slow start to this map, but has absolutely found the accelerator since then. The rest of his team have to contribute at this point. It's a mining defense on that second floor. FaZe have control of the top, but they then need to move on down. Souls, what are you doing, by the way? Canadian sees him from a long-range angle inside of mining. Astro will now just continue to survey this same area, Canadian isolated. And that's 30 seconds to go. Panbazoo next one up. He's trying out dual Cyber. That is a tough prospect for most players, as now Cyber watches him run. Dropping on down. He sees the bulletproof camera, and there it goes. FaZe with an advantage. A 4v3. Cyber on low HP getting the diffuser down. There are 2 sets of smokes. NJR to the rescue. He gets gunned down, but Panbazoo stops the diffuser in its tracks. 10 seconds left. FaZe will need to pick up the diffuser and go for a plant, but they don't have any intel, and there's Hyper playing off of the pings. He can collect quite easily. Panbazoo next one up. Bullet is down for the count, and Cameraman stopped in his tracks. DarkZero is no longer asleep. We're going to need a 12th round to settle this between these teams.
I'm telling you, Parker, 8-6 will be the scoreline. Just you wait, we will get there. DC is still looking not that loud. I mean,
there was a cry.
Making a comeback, right? We gotta go, woo, guys. Bring the energy. I truly believe it plays a factor into the mental, the momentum, and how you feel within the game. Huge round from Pamba, flying the red stairs, shot down the plant from Cyber, and Hyper, he really waited around. They wanted FaZe to stop planting, enable that 1 versus 2. Because if one guy is planting, he cannot be called to action. And then when that situation occurs, then you walk back into the bomb site, 1 from red stairs, 1 from pillar, you take the 2v1 gunfight. They won it, last man's planting, as all too easy. 5-6. The thing about DC is that they're working their way through the bomb sites, but they played mining. That means reading is still available. They do not have to go to the basement. They can stake it up here, where they've been doing so well, finding all of their success. Since the side swap, on the very first round, they won the top floor defense. Then they lost reading, and they lost reading. Back to top floor they went, then to mining, now back to reading again. No basement inside for DC. Just staying above. It'll be the mirror. So we're going back and forth between the 2 different strats. One was without the mirror, and one was with the mirror. This time though, like the first time around, there is no Kali from FaZe. So has FaZe learned from the previous mistakes? Can they break apart this defense? Remember, what happened was that Cyber just walked up the white stairs and got 2 kills, and they still lost the round after because NGR was there to clutch. And it won't be that easy this time around if you're FaZe, I hope, because there should be a pair of eyes on that white staircase. Otherwise, well, oh, Cyber, he's gonna do it again. He's gonna do it again. He's gonna walk on up, Parker.
He's not droning white stairs, though. He's droning out.
He's just setting it up. He has 1 more drone bottom white, 1 drone brown stairs, so he sees both areas. You see here and there, and then he's gonna walk in now.
Let's ride along now with our Cyber cam.
Oh, they saw it.
Spotted him right away.
Yep. Good job. And barbed wire.
Barbed wire. So
a little bit far down.
They've shored up some of their weaknesses.
Really good.
Nobody from brown stairs to punish him. But as you can see, there's 2 players on white stairs now, so they're going to prevent him from doing that same thing as you talked about.
Well, that's good.
Both in the vicinity.
Repeating mistakes is like the biggest mistake you really can make because you need to learn from your mistakes, and I'm really glad to see that that's not the case this time around. Cyber, he tries it, recognizes, okay, they've countered it, let's do something else instead. So good read from both teams, really, not really overstepping their line.
Pretty wild, by the way. Even though you said that 8-6 were the 2 score lines on this map for DarkZero, that DZ is doing better here on Kafe than they did on Clubhouse. That is abnormal. You would figure that on their own map, they would be in a little bit better position. Oh, the run out from Panbazoo, and Cameraman makes that read look so routine. Knows exactly where they are and now is swinging to try and capitalize off of it. Jackal tracks to just push away these DZ players. All of FaZe, upstairs, control of that top floor, as talked about. Panbazoo has been the star for his team so far, and that's it for him this round, sitting on the bench.
They have limited vertical, breaching charges from Astro going out, Retero drones 2 available as well. No sledge on the board, they have no grenades, no utility at all. They spent everything to gain top floor control. It'll be a brawl, a gun fiesta, if you will, and Cyber looking to just get active onto bomb side. He cannot wait.
And there he is, he's walking right in. Doesn't have the diffuser, though. That's Souls who has it, by the way. Does DarkZero know that FaZe Clan are in the bomb site? Yes, they do. They see Cyber, and it's Eclipse with the stellar eyesight. It's a big kill. 40 seconds left. This will be the calm before the storm. DZ looking to ride out said storm. If they do, overtime awaits, but Hyper loses his duel to Bullet from above. NJR sees the Jackal, cameraman caught sleeping, and now NJR has another lined up. But no, Astro says, I've got something to say about that. Final 2 players from DZ will go against the 2 sites, a Bullet and Astro as diffuser goes down. This is where things get from bad to worse for DZ. Eclipse retaking from above. There's 1 player from FaZe up there. Down goes Canadian. Eclipse has been in so many clutch moments, he hasn't succeeded yet. He'll need to do it this time for his team to stay. There's 1 kill to go. 2 more for him. Does he know where the diffuser is? Almost past the point of no return. About 10 seconds left for Eclipse, but not even that. The Brazilians do it in the 11th hour on map 2. FaZe move on, DarkZero go home.
There's that energy from FaZe, really happy with that victory. Of course, for them, might have come a little bit easy to them. It was a very one-sided clubhouse on that first map. 7-3